Okay, in the last video, we looked at, we explored the equation of line. I think it was mostly review. But, every line I gave you was in the form of y equals mx plus b. Now, the problem is it didn't always look like that. Sometimes you get an equation and it'll be 2x plus y equals 5. Now, you're looking at this, you say, okay, it's a line, and, we went over the rules. So, apply this to y-intercept. It should be increasing because the 2 is positive. I want you to go to decimals, and I want you to put this equation in, and I want you to tell me what the line looks like. Okay, well, what you discovered is that actually the line is decreasing. Once again, you should be seeing that in decimals right now. The line's decreasing. So the question is, what's wrong? What's going on? The rule said it's supposed to be increasing. Well, the rules were when the equation was in the form of y equals mx plus b. It's not like that. So, what's going on here? Well, we just have to transform it. Just transform into y equals mx plus b. I'll give you some rules. Step one, look at the y side. So where's the y side? Wherever the y is, put a bracket underneath. Okay. Number two, get rid of the x terms and the constants. So I'm like, okay, how do I get rid of a positive 2x? If you subtract 2x from both sides, or you can use, there's other maths around the world. They say, well, if it's positive on the left, it's negative on the right. That's up to you. So we write this as y equals negative 2x plus 5. And then step 3, get rid of the coefficient of y. If there's a number in front of the y, you have to get rid of it. If it's multiplied by a number, you divide everything by that number. If it's a fraction, you multiply everything by the reciprocal. Let's go through some examples. Example 1, 3x plus 4y equals 12. So you look at this and you're like, this is not in the form of y equals mx plus b. So the first thing we're going to do is step 1, look at the y side. Step 2, get rid of this 3x. So if it's positive on the left, it's negative on the right. Step 3, get rid of the coefficient in front of the y. How do I undo multiplication? Division. Divide by 4, divide by 4, divide by 4. Final answer, y equals negative 3/4 x plus 3. And you say, the line is decreasing and the y-intercept is 3. Let's try another example. How about, how about 5x minus, 2y equals negative 6. Any suggestions? Once again, this is not the only way to do it. Let's take a look at this works for everything. So the first thing might be, you might say, okay, look at the y side. So if it's, first thing I look to the y side, I have to get rid of my 5x. So it becomes negative 2y equals negative 5x minus 6. Step 3, get rid of that negative 2, divide everything by negative 2. Final answer, y equals 5 over 2x plus 3. Now, some of you might say, hey, Mr. Adler, there's a faster way. what is that? I'm totally up for that. And you might say, hey, you know what? Just move the 2y to the right and the 6 to the left, right? And then you have 5x plus 6 equals 2y, right? And then I got rid of all my negatives. That's totally acceptable if you want to do that. Totally acceptable. Divide everything by 2, and you get 5 over 2x plus 3 equals y. I'm totally fine with that. Let's just do an arithmetic one with a fraction. How about I don't know, 2/3 y minus 7x equals 12. All right? Should we keep the 7 or change it to a number that we like? Let's change the number to a 9. No, let's make it 8. Step 1, look at the y side. Step 2, get rid of that minus 8. How do we undo subtraction? With addition. Or, if it's negative on the left, it's going to be positive on the right. 2/3 y equals 8x plus 12. Now, the next part might be daunting for some of you. You might say, oh, I can't do that. Well, it's easy. How do I get rid of the 2/3? Well, you're told in an algebra class that you multiply by the multiplicative inverse. Let's just take it easy. First of all, I don't like denominators. How do I undo a denominator? Multiply everything by the numerator. Multiply to cancel out the denominator, have the same number in the numerator. So you know what? I'm going to multiply everything by 3. Right? And so that takes care of that. So I have 2y equals 24x plus 36. I got rid of the 3. Now I'm fine with this. How do I undo multiplication? Divide everything by 2. Divided by 2, divided by 2, divided by 2. We have the equation y equals 12x plus 18. Excellent. Okay. Nice. Last thing I want to talk about is something called graphing by intercept. Graphing by intercept. Now we can graph or sketch either way. So if you remember, in the last video, I gave you actually it was an axiom, and I said between any 2 points, you can draw a line. So the idea is if I can come up with 2 points, I have my line, my unique line. Now, sometimes some of these equations are not so pretty, like this first one, you know, I have fractions and fractions, but you know what? This equation is nice. Now, the only time I'm going to ask you this is when these numbers come together. So you look at this and say, hey, Mr. Adler, 3 times 4 is 12, or it's a multiple of it. So the idea is, if I take 3x plus 4y equals 12, and I say, you know what, if x equals 0, then I have 3 times 0 plus 4y equals 12, 4y equals 12, y equals 3. And if I say that y equals 0, I have 3x plus 4 times 0 equals 12, 3x equals 12, x equals 4. I now have 2 points. I have the intercepts. I have 0, 3, and I have 4, 0. And I can quickly make a sketch. I don't have to transform it into y equals mx with b. I can just say, you know what? I can quickly get the intercepts. Once again, I'm not asking you a question to find the intercepts with this one or this one. I would only ask you, well, let's quickly sketch. Here's the axes. I got point 0.03. I have point 0.40. Here's my quick sketch. And I have my line, right? Oh, look, it's decreasing, and the y-intercept is 3. Let's try another one. How about we try 3x plus 5y equals, actually, no, let's change it around. How about a 7x plus 5y equals 70? Well, because I'm asking you to find the, so I would say find the intercepts. I would say find the intercepts. So you say, okay, this is easy because I know that 7 goes into 70, and I know that 5 goes into 70 because it ends with a 0. So let's see, what's the x-intercept? The x-intercept is when y equals 0, right? So that's 7 times x plus 0 equals 70, x equals 10. What's the y-intercept? Well, we know the y-intercept is when x equals 0. So we have 0 plus 5y equals 70. I know that 5 goes into 35 7 times. So that means I know that 5 goes into 70 14 times. And so I have my two intercepts, 10 0 and 0 14. And you can make a sketch, or you can check it, yeah. Why don't you try these two on your own? Try these two on your own, and then check it in decimals. Let's see, 4x minus 3y equals 12. And then try 2x plus 7y equals 28. Once again, find the two intercepts, make a sketch, and then check in decimals to see if you have the answer correct. That's it. So what I'd like you to do is I want you to work on these questions. Here's your question. Here's your homework. Can you see it all? There we go. Yeah, take a screenshot. There's your homework.